Alright, it is Sunday the 19th of May. Bolton is in mourning this morning, so I thought I will pay tribute to Bolton Wanderers and not show up to my big occasion. Only kidding, here I am. I always turn up to my big occasions. So we're going to put Bolton Wanderers to one side for 1 minute and we're going to concentrate on this lawn behind me and ask myself the question, how did it even get this bad, this lawn, with annual meadow grass? So over the last few weeks we've been tirelessly digging out annual meadow grass day by day. Just keep going, seeing it, and you think you've got it all, there's some more, and then we just ask ourselves why. And on the other lawn on the other side, we've done some real work on that side. So I'll go and show you that now, and then we'll crack on with what should be the last top dressing renovation this side of the summer. So let's get to it, and let's get this Bolton Wanderers mess out of my head. Alright, so it looks like a piece of Swiss cheese, as I've showed you in the last video. So what I decided to do was have a closer look on this side, and it just became apparent that there was loads of annual meadowgrass around the edges. There was a big patch here, big patches everywhere, and what's happening is that when I go on this lawn and turn, I'm dragging seed onto the mower and then bringing it back across. So I just bit the bullet and decided, because I've got to skip and the neighbours don't mind me doing work on this lawn because they know it's going to come back, we just dug out everything I could. So I put a nice edge on there, got rid of annual meadowgrass in there. There's a massive patch there with like loads of seeds on, millions of seeds, not much foliage but just loads of seed all along here. And you can see in the skip it's full now, so that needs to go. So we'll get back over here. So I decided what was happening is that along this edge there was all annual meadowgrass under there, so when I come along strimming I'm flinging seeds everywhere. So again, we just had to do this, dig it all out nice, put a nice edge on it with the half moon all the way along. So that was all annual meadowgrass there. So hopefully, you can never say you've got it all, but I really do think I've been on it now for 3 weeks, spending hours and hours and hours getting it out, and I really think now I've more or less got it all. And anything that I haven't got, well, there you go, there's evidence I've not got it all, because there's one that I've missed, look at that. So we'll get that one out, we'll give it one final walk over, and what'll happen is when we're mowing it, we'll be able to see anything that's lurking as well, because it becomes apparent, as you know, when we cut it short it has like white stems, so we can dig anything out that we see. But there can't be much left, can there? There's going to be no lawn left. You know, you get to the point where there's actually no lawn left, so there can't be any annual meadowgrass, so there's that much missing. So anyway, so what we're going to do is first we'll get the rotary out, give it a cut on one, scalp all this top growth off, cylinder mower, scalp it again even closer, Scarify, seed, top dress, job done, and we can get this one looking as good as the other side. So we'll show you that later on, because my van's in the way at the minute, so I can't show you that. I need to mow it and stuff, put some feed on, get the equilibrium on that side. But today its majority is all about this side, so let's do it. That's the rotary done, just going over it with the Alex Sterling now on 10mm. Alright, so the scalp is done. We just about got the scalping done in time with the Sterling, because I forgot to charge it. Note to oneself, remember to charge it. But we also had another issue, is that when I came to get the Scarifyer out of the van, I didn't have it in there. I forgot, I took it out and put it in my back garden. So I've just lost an hour, I've had to go home, get it and come back. But here we are. But whilst I was there, I managed to get the Sterling battery on charge, so that'll be nicely charged for tomorrow. So what we're going to do is normal, go over, Scarify. Now I've done myself a bit of a problem here, is because whilst I had this skip and I just had some free time, I dug out this border behind me, which means I'm not going to be able to Scarify right up to the edge probably. So that was just oversight because I wanted to get the skip filled and I didn't have enough time to do what I wanted to do on this side like this, but I just had a spare half an hour, so I just used it to dig this trench out. But it's not a major issue, nobody's going to hopefully come and get me for it, so we'll just crack on. So let's do it. Alright, that's the Scarify done. Not much came up, to be honest, so it's going to be easy peasy picking it up. So we just see some nice grooves there for the seed. So what we're going to do is get the hater out, pick all this debris up what's come up, and then we're going to get on with filling these holes in, which is going to be hard work because there's so many of them. And I've not decided fully what we're going to do yet. I think, like over there, I've just filled it, because I've got the Westland topsoil over there, plenty of it. I'm going to fill this trench up, make sure I've got that filled, and then I've got some field compost number 5 over there and some of that topsoil. I think I'm just going to mix the two together just to create volume, because I've only got I haven't got enough field compost number 5 to do the whole lawn in terms of filling these holes in. And then what I'll do is then that creates another problem, because once we've filled in the holes and then we want to seed and top dress the rest of it, because the field compost number 4 is lighter than the topsoil, the field compost number 4 will just dry up and wash off and blow off, and it causes a problem. So it's going to be a bit of a logistical nightmare this, because we're going to have to do like 2 different things in terms of filling the holes, and then when I get to the field compost number 4 I'm going to have to try and avoid brushing it over these holes that we've filled in. So got all afternoon. I do want to get on for the football for the 4 o'clock, but I think we've got plenty of time to do that. So the sooner I get on with the hater and get everything picked up, the sooner we can crack on with that. And then once that's done, it's just a case of getting the top dressing on. That's easy, wetting agent, water, get some feed on the other side, done. So let's go. Alright, when I'm trying to film, there's always somebody somewhere blowing or something putting me off, but I must crack on. So I was being a bit thick before, because I said I've only got like 1 bag of number 5 to get through the whole job, but what I can do is I can just use this, because it's quite sandy anyway, and mix in some field number 4. So sorry about that, my mind is still a bit mush from yesterday. So what I'm going to do is, this is boiling, so this is going to get the seed underway really quick. I know it's in a bag, but it still gets warm. So we'll just keep it consistent, just count how many handfuls you're putting in, because I can't take a full bucket over, because I won't be able to carry that and like throw it in, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to treat this like a divoting exercise on a golf course. So I'm just going to mix in that, put in some of this, just to give us some like water retention, because it's sandy. It's not, what I found is in the border where I've got the alyssum, it's drying out really fast. So if that's seed, then that's going to dry out really fast as well. So we'll mix in some of this. This is going to give us some water retention as well. So I'll stick 3 handfuls of this in. Just give it a mix up. Doesn't have to be rocket science. Just mix it up by hand. It's nice just to get your hands dirty once in a while. And then all I'm going to do to that is, I'm just going to put in a handful of seed. Not loads, because we don't want loads of seed in there. We just want 3 or 4 plants per hole to come through. We don't want loads, because if we put loads in, we're going to be able to see it, because all that seed is going to come through and just rot away and go orange and cause problems going forward. So just a little bit of seed. So even now that's really warm in there, so that seed's getting off to a great start, with the moisture from the field compost as well, because that's a bit wet because it's been just sat over there. So we're good to go. So I'll just see how far this goes and then just keep coming back, mixing that mix up, going again, and then what I'll do is when we get to the bigger areas, I'll just take a bag over and do it over there and mix it up. That'll be easier, but this is just for the small holes. Let's do it. Alright, so I'm just going to work systematically along my stripes. So we'll just throw it in and just put it down with our foot. That's absolutely fine. if you just go random with it, you're just going to keep going over the same area. So if you're working like an organised fashion, you're really going to do less walking and less messing about. So this area is quite easy because there's only a few. So yeah, this is what I used to do on work experience in 1995. I just used to get a load of top dressing and seed, and all day we just spend doing this. Kind of put me off wanting to be a greenkeeper at a golf club, because that seemed to be like the main job. So I thought, well, I'll go on my own and I can do this whenever I want. So yeah, so that's how easy it is. You can see why I've got a light bucket, because if it was heavy, I'd be like this, which is not what I want. I just want to be able to pick it up with one hand and throw it in, just like that. If it needs a bit more, just give it a bit more. And don't forget, we're going to go over the top of it as well. So what we're going to do is, I'll carry on, get the whole lawn done, and then we'll get on with the top dressing and overseeding. Alright, job done. That was nice and easy. That compost and that topsoil mixed together was absolutely boiling. So if we can maintain that temperature, obviously when we water it we cool it down, but get this sun on it, that seed will germinate in no time at all. That really did take me back to my day, like I said before, work experience. I didn't tell you where, but it was at Harwood Golf Club. And funny story, I've not seen the guy who was there who was 19, called Martin Durham. He was the groundsman there, and he still is. When I went to Tenerife for Easter, he was on the same flight, and he said, he walked past and he went, "All right, Dan," and I was like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "Oh, bloody hell, it's Martin." I said, "How did you up with me?" He said, "I recognise that voice anywhere." I don't think he'd been listening to the channel, but obviously I must have a distinctive voice, and he remembered it from 1995, although I have bumped into him on occasion round about Bolton and things, but not for a very, very long time. But good to know that he still remembers me, and that's where like my passion for grass started, because even back then when I was at school, age 15, I kind of knew I wanted to get into grass. So I don't know how many of you actually kind of have used your work experience at school as a springboard for your current career, or whether you just chose something that looked easy. But we did have some good times there. But on the first day, the groundsman there who I hated, he was called Dave. He was just a nasty piece of work, just not a very nice man. He sent us out with no safety glasses and with the, like 100% like tar, creosote, and me and Gaz Stone, who was my farm friend from Scotland, we both went painting fences, and we were kind of having like creosote fights, and we got it over cars and everything, and we both burnt our eyes. He ended up in A&E, I didn't, but we had like panda eyes for a couple of weeks. So if I ever go blind, I'll be putting a claim in, just going back from there. But yeah, that was very painful, all around my eye, not my eyes within, but the skin around my eyes was burnt like a chemical peel. It was awful for a few days. I was sat at home with cucumber on my eyes because it was so bad. But in those days, my mum used to say, "Oh, you'll be all right, you'll be all right." Everybody else got to hospital, but it's like, "Oh, you'll be all right, you'll be fine, nothing wrong with you." So right, so what we're going to do now is get the seed on, crying out for a wetting agent, this lawn, because it's so dry, because it's been like, I've been scalping it for the last 2 weeks, every day or like every other day, to keep the grass down. The sun has just perished, it's just like perished it, it's just like basically fried it, so the soil is very dry, and if I was to water that now, it would all just run off. So we need to get that wetting agent on for sure. Top dressing, water, done. Then we'll get on with that other side. Alright, so we've just got these areas to fill in. There was not much point in mixing this in a bucket and then pouring it in. So I'm just going to pour it in direct, and then just scoop a few handfuls of field compost number 4 in. Because we don't really need that compost all the way down at the bottom, it's just that top layer really. And this is quite deep. So we'll do this way. So I'll just crack on with this. And then I'll get up and I'll put my foot on it and then just get it compacted. Because what we don't want it running off the edge. Now I haven't here, just because it's not my land. It's not, well, none of this is my land, but this isn't my domain. So if you wanted to beforehand, like I did over there last week, spray your weed killer before you start doing this, you could just like brush it on, just be very careful. But this isn't, let's say, my drive, so they can do that whenever they want, if they want to. I'm not really that bothered. I just do this lawn at Steve's request, and they're happy because it just blends in as one, because they're not keen gardeners on this. I think they're keen to have a nice garden, but they're not keen to do it themselves. Like most people, you know, keen to have a nice garden. I'm keen to have a clean car, but I don't really do anything to clean it that often. So we'll just throw this in. Before I get up and stamp it down, I might as well put the field compost number 4 on, because if I stamp it down and then put the field compost number 4 on, I'm going to have to mix it back up, so I'll do that now. I mean, you could, if you wanted, mix it in a bucket, that's alright, but we'll just go like that. It's nothing, you know, there's no science, it's not like we have to do it bob on like perfect, it doesn't matter. Like I've said before, that's what I loved about gardeners. If you make a mistake or you don't do it quite right, it don't matter. Don't matter at all. Because nobody's going to get hurt or anything. And it will work. There's a wasp there, or a honeybee or something. Just maybe, I don't want to get stung. One thing I hate, I've got a high pain tolerance, but wasp stings and bee stings, I haven't got a high tolerance of pain for that. You like try as much as you can to keep the pain in, but eventually I got stung. I work at a place down in Worsley called Ellenbrook Village Centre, and there was a wasp nest in the brickwork, and I was just walking past innocently with shorts on, and I got stung. And you don't feel it at first, you just feel like a sting, like maybe 10 seconds after they've bit you or stung you, whatever, and then eventually you just have to go ah, and then it's just throbs for the rest of the day. It's like a nettle sting. Right, so there you go, so that's like your seed bed. So what we'll do is, there's no point seeding this with the spreader because it will just end up blowing all over the drive, so we'll just do it by hand. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of fleece over it just for extra protection from the birds, and there's a lot of debris flying around off these willows up above, so that'll be good practice. So don't just do it because I'm doing it, just have a think about why you need to do it and come up with your own conclusions, because what I'm trying to do with these videos is teach you so you can do it yourself, not always ask me the answer. I have had very few people to ask. I've been lucky enough to meet some people who I can ask stuff to, but most of what I've learned is just from seeing things develop over the last 25 years, and I just know what to do now, and hopefully in 25 years you'll be the same. So that's good. Right, so what I'll do is put that back in there. I'll just mix that up a little bit, just give it a bit of a thingy with my hands, just a little bit of a coverage over. Let's just like use your hand as a rake. And if you wanted to, like I said before, if I go over now with the field compost, it's going to dry up and blow off, so you're probably better just going over with a bit of the heavier material just to cover that over. Compost is lighter than sandy soil, so it will just blow off or wash off in the rain. So I'll do that. And I've got to allow for a bit of, it is like, you might be looking at it and going, well, that's slightly raised. It is going to sink a little bit. There we go. Just break that back up a little bit. Get off the edge. There you go, job done. Alright, so we're just ready to go on with our extreme seed, our dwarf ryegrass. what I'm going to do is, because we've got pretty good coverage all over anyway, and I've put seed in the compost which we've just filled in, I'm just going to go on at 35 grams a square metre. So I know this lawn's just over 100, so I've just weighed out 3.5 kilos in there, and we'll just put that on. I go on at 32 on my spreader. I know what I'm doing with that, but if you're worried you might run out before you finish, then just go on with a lower rating and just do multiple passes until you run out. I'm just very experienced, so I can do that. But for you, drop it down to like as low as you want, put your weight amount in, and then just keep going up and down, left to right, etc, until you run out, and then you're guaranteed to get that coverage all over without running out. Because I've done it before when I first started. You go on heavy, and before you get to the end you've run out because you've not calculated it. But I know how fast I walk and what this does as it drops out, so I'm all right. But for you, low rate, multiple passes, that is the key. Alright, so we're just ready to go on with the H2Go wetting agent. Now, why we're doing it like this, we're going to put it on the seed. This is going to help the seed germinate quicker because water is going to be able to penetrate through quicker, and the soil underneath is going to get some attention as well, because like I said before, it's bone dry and the water is just going to run off. So we're going to put it on now. So what I've done is I've put all the wetting agent I need in to go on in one dose, but put twice as much water in. So in essence we're putting half rate on once for the seed, and then the second half for on top of the compost. So just bear that in mind when mixing up. Okay, so that's the H2Go wetting agent on, half rate, but same amount of water. So that means we've got half the amount of wetting agent left in our tank, but the same amount of water, so we can go over again and give the top dressing a coating as well. Now stay tuned, because I've got a really good story to tell you that dreams do come true. Alright, so we're just going on with the field compost number 4. Discount code still available, always available. DHLE10 at fieldcompost.co.uk. This has been here since good came on the week beginning Easter Monday, so we've had this quite a while, so it is a little bit damp. We're just not able to get on it. Now, I did say I would tell you a story about dreams coming true. So as you know, I listen to Talk Sport every day, 10 to 1, Jim White, Simon Jordan, and they're just great. You know, if you watch it you'll understand what I mean, is that if you're a tradesman and you work on your own, you know, it can get lonely, but every morning just tune into them and it just brightens your day because the banter and makes you laugh. Sometimes I'll be walking along and just laughing my head off and people are wondering what I'm doing. I say, oh, Jim White or Simon Jordan's just said something funny. So I have physically dreamt about Jim White being in he's been in my dreams. I've met him in my dreams. I've met Simon Jordan in my dreams. I've daydreamed about meeting him, what I would say to him. And yesterday at half time at Wembley, one of the lads who I was with said, "There's your mate over there." And I was like, "Who?" And I looked to my right and Jim White of TalkSport was sat about 3 metres away. And it was at a time where some spectators in front hadn't quite come back from half time. Paris Maghome had been coming off with an injury, so the match wasn't ongoing. So I just thought, I've got to go. And he was literally he was literally like where that bag of compost is from me, or just where the railings were. So I went over and I went, Mr. White, Mr. White. I said, and he looked up, I said, "Can I say hello, please? Can I say hello?" And I said, "No." I was like, what? I've rehearsed it in my mind hundreds of times what I'd say. And I was like, "Oh, just can I give you a hug? Just thanks for all you do, just keeping us going and making us feel like part of the family even though we're not there." And I think he was taken aback a bit by the passion that I was showing, and I'm not sure he knew quite what to say, but he was very gracious and it was just a great moment. So if you dream about something and you're both alive and you live in the same country, then it is possible that dreams can come true. So I didn't care about the result yesterday. I was happy because life can throw little things like that where you just think, yeah, dreams can come true. So if you do dream about something, it can happen. Honestly, I just never thought I would get to meet Jim White. I just thought it was impossible, but the stars aligned for me yesterday. So I didn't go to Bolton yesterday for the result or to watch Bolton. what life had in store for me was that moment, was to meet Jim White, not the football. So I'm quite a believer in that kind of thing, like sliding doors moments and fate and all that kind of thing. Lots of things had to happen, like the people in front, they obviously got delayed at whatever they were doing and didn't make it back in time, because if they'd have been there I wouldn't have been able to jump over the seat to get to him. So I just keep believing, and yeah, it can come true. So that is just going to stay with me forever. And he said he'll maybe mention it tomorrow on the show. So if you're watching the show tomorrow, listening, and he mentions a guy who come over and just thanked him for all he did, it's me. So yeah, so I'll crack on with this, and then we're going to go home and watch the rest of the Premier League season unfold. Who will win the title, Man City or Arsenal? Well, in a few hours we'll know. I hope Arsenal win. I want City to draw or lose, and Arsenal, just because it's getting a bit boring. It's getting a bit like Formula 1 football. City winning everything, it's getting a bit boring, so I want to change. So I'm going home supporting Arsenal. And then I wanted Fury to lose last night, so he did as well, just because I don't like the sideshow with Fury, like his dad headbutting people and things. So yeah, so that came true. Met Jim White, that came true. So maybe today Arsenal winning the league can come true for the Arsenal fans as well. So yeah, let's get on with this and we can get home. Now on with the remaining wetting agent. Alright, so that's that side done. All we need to do now is complete the bedding plants and topsoil on this side, but I'll have to pick those up another day because I've not had a chance to go up and get them. But all we need to do now on this lawn is water every day now for the next 7 days, unless it rains. There is some dew Wednesday, but till then I'll just be watering by hand, keeping it moist, and that seed's going to come right through. So that's that for this side. Let's go and check out this side and see how those products work that we put on 6 days ago. All right, so we're back on this side. If we just take a look what it was like 2 weeks ago after we'd finished, and then last Monday before we put the products on, and then I cut it twice last week. I cut it on Wednesday and I've cut it on Friday. What I did in this area, I went that way, I just pushed and pulled so we weren't turning on this bottom end where it's quite juvenile still, and we get a lot of traffic there, so I'm trying to avoid any particular turn in there. So as you can see now, the products we put on have kicked on. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give it another cut, and then we're going to go on with some granular fertiliser, which is really then going to give us that extra spurt that we're after to thicken up. And we'll get on with the cutting as well, and that's going to thicken it up as well. So nice and easy today. Feed, then water, and then this side is done. And then in 7 to 10 days, we're going to be at our optimum, kind of where we want to be in terms of colour and stripeability. So let's get this feed on, and then we can go home and watch the Premier League finale. Alright, it's looking really nice. We can still see the soil going on with the big feed, so that's going to fill up those spaces, so we don't need to put any extra seed on. There's still seed there which is coming through, so we're in a good position. So yeah, so let's get this feed on and then get it watered. Alright, that draws this video to an end. I've just watered this one heavily, and I've just watered that one heavily as well, so that's good to go. All we need to do on that one is keep watering, and on this one all we need to do is keep watering and cutting, and we will get to the promised land, and hopefully you'll be with me to join me next time here on Daniel Hibbert Lawn Expert, when we will be doing something else lawn related. Take care, see you soon, and bye for now. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.